All right, everybody, so I hope that last night's homework went well, because this is going to jump off and also use amplitude and period today. We're adding in a new thing called the horizontal shift. But if there's any questions you have on the homework assignment, I will be sure to answer those tomorrow at the beginning of class. We'll have time to answer both homework assignments. So, only thing that's going to be different from what we did yesterday is that we're going to start on a different shifted value on the x-axis. So if you see highlighted in yellow, that is the part that's new today. The rest of the things are going to be the same. The location of that value, if you look up above, is it's going to be inside the parentheses. So we are going to need to make sure we're careful there since we're inside the parentheses. We are going to need to make sure we're thinking opposite, just like we've done in the past. So we're going to need to keep that in mind as we're doing these today. So let's go ahead and try one. So looking at this first one, the first two questions we're going to answer are amplitude and period. So the amplitude, remember, is the number out in front. The amplitude right now is just 1. The period, same formula as yesterday. We're going to do 2 pi divided by b, which is also 1. That's the number right in front of x. So our period is 2 pi. Here is the new part for today. The horizontal shift is this value. We have to make sure that we do the opposite of that, though. So it's really going to be negative pi over 2. All right, then the pattern is the same as what we were doing yesterday. For sine, the pattern goes intercept, max, intercept, min, intercept. Here is the other part that's different. That horizontal shift value is where we have to start. So we're starting at negative pi over 2, and we can actually mark that. Let's go ahead and mark that. We're going to mark it with a vertical dotted line on the graph. That's going to be our starting point. That's where we're shifting to. Then you can add your increase by amount onto that. So to find that increase by amount, remember we take the period and we divide it into 4. So that's going to be 2 pi divided by 4, which is pi over 2. That's what we have to add on each time. So I'm taking negative pi over 2, and I'm going to add pi over 2, which will give me 0. Add pi over 2 again, we get pi over 2. Add pi over 2 again, we get 2 pi over 2, and then 3 pi over 2. I'm just going to go back and simplify that one to pi. And then we have to graph each of those points. So at our green line, let me go ahead and mark our amplitude. We didn't do that yet. That's the max, that's the min. And at our green line, we're going to start at the intercept. So we're at intercept. At 0, we're at the max. At pi over 2, we're at the intercept. At pi, we have to hit the min. And at 3 pi over 2, we're back at the intercept. And then remember, we're just going to draw these nice curves here. It's going to be a hill and then a valley. And it will keep going through those points. So that's one example. Let's try another one. All right, so this next one, if we want to identify the amplitude, that's that number out in front. So this time the amplitude's 3. Let's just go ahead and mark that right away. This is the max. This is the min. And then the period is 2 pi divided by b. B is still 1, so our period's still 2 pi. It's the basic period. And the horizontal shift is this value, which is going to be, this time, positive 3 pi over 2. Make sure we're changing to the opposite. So we'll go ahead and mark that as our starting line. And then our key points, this is positive sign, so it's going to go intercept, max, intercept, min, intercept. And again, the new thing with these is we're starting at that shift value. We're going to start at 3 pi over 2. And then we have to increase by our increase amount, which is the period divided into 4. So it's going to be pi over 2. So we're going to add pi over 2 to this. So it's just going to add 1 to the top each time. We're going to do 4 pi over 2, 5 pi over 2, 6 pi over 2, 7 pi over 2. And then I'll go back and I'll simplify this. This is 3 pi. This is 2 pi. And then we just graph each of those points. So at 3 pi over 2 on our green line, we're at the intercept. Then when we get to 2 pi, that's the max. 5 pi over 2, we're back at the intercept. 3 pi is the min. And 7 pi over 2, we're back at the intercept. And we're just going to draw in these nice curves, a hill, and then a valley. And it will keep going through those points. right, let's try another variation. All right, so this one, we're gonna throw in another number here. So the 4 is your amplitude. So we know our max is at +4, our min is at -4. The amplitude, this time we do have a value for b. When we have parentheses, we like b to be outside of the parentheses. So we'll always want to make sure that that's outside of the parentheses. So this guy here is b, so our period is 2 pi divided by 2, which is pi. And our horizontal shift is going to be the opposite of this value in parentheses. It'll be -pi. So we're going to go over -pi. And then our key points, we still have positive signs, so it's going to go intercept max, intercept min, intercept. Our start value is at -pi, and then we have to increase by the period divided into 4, which is pi over 4. So this time, to make that happen, I am going to get a common denominator here. So that will happen with some of these, is you might have to change that start amount. So the common denominator is going to be multiplying this by 4, which will be -4 pi over 4. That's what we want to add on to. So I'm going to add on, and I'm going to get -3 pi over 4, -2 pi over 4, -pi over 4, and then 0. And this guy really is -pi over 2. So as we go to mark these, remember your pi over 4 spots are in between here. So this is -pi over 4. This is -3 pi over 4. It would keep going up by odd amounts. And now we can fill each of these points in. So our intercept, we're at this green line. At the max, we're at 3 pi over 4. Back at the intercept at -pi over 2. The min is at -pi over 4, and back at the intercept at 0. So these are going to be a little bit skinnier because our period is smaller, so it oscillates faster. That's what that one would look like. All right, let's try another version. All right, for this guy, our amplitude is +5. Make sure you're taking the absolute value of that. So our amplitude is +5, so the max is here, the min is down here. The period is going to be 2 pi divided by 2, which is pi. And the horizontal shift is -pi over 2. So we're going to start over here at -pi over 2. And then our key points, be careful this time, it says that it's -5 as our amplitude, so that means it's going to go to the min first. So it's going to go intercept min, intercept max, intercept. And then our start value is -pi over 2. And I need to add on by pi over 4. So again, just like the last one, in order to do that, get this to have a common denominator. So I'd have to multiply both of those by 2. So this is really -2 pi over 4. So that's the common denominator. So this, if I add pi to that, it's just going to increase the numerator by 1. So it'll be -pi over 4, then 0, then pi over 4, then 2 pi over 4, which is pi over 2. And now we're going to go ahead and we can mark those off. Remember, these are our pi over 4 spots. So this is -pi over 4, this is +pi over 4. And we're going to have an intercept first at the green line, then at -pi over 4, we're at the min, intercept at 0, max at pi over 4, intercept at pi over 2. So we're going to have these, again, skinny, tight curve here because this one has a smaller period than normal. So it just means it's going to go a little bit faster. All right. This next one, we've got the amplitude is 2. The period is 2 pi divided by 4, so this is an even smaller period. It's pi over 2. And the shift value, remember the shift value is going to be +2 pi. So I'm going to go ahead, I didn't mark any of that down. The max is here, the min is here, and we are shifting over to +pi over 2. So we're all the way over here. So this one's shifting real far to the right. Our pattern, it's positive again, so it's intercept max, intercept min, intercept. And we are starting at that green value. We're going to start at 2 pi. And we need to add on pi over 2 divided by 4. So you just have to be careful here. That's pi over 2 times 1/4. So we're really adding pi over 8 on. In order to do that, I will need to get a common denominator for the green number. So I need to make that out of 8. That's really going to be times 8 is 16 pi over 8. So if I add that on, this is going to be 17 pi over 8, 18 pi over 8, 19 pi over 8, and 20 pi over 8. So these couple reduce. This will reduce by 10 pi over 4, 5 pi over 2, and this is 9 pi over 4. So if we mark these, I'm going to start back here. Remember, pi over 4s go up by odd amounts. So this is pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, 7 pi over 4, 9 pi over 4, 11 pi over 4. So actually, we're not going to go past 5 pi over 2, so I didn't need that last one. The 1/8 spots are in between here. So this one's going to be 17 pi over 8, and this one will be 19 pi over 8. So now we can go ahead and graph. This is going to be super, super skinny. Intercept on the green line, max in this in-between spot, intercept at 9 pi over 4, min in the in-between spot, intercept at 5 pi over 2. So we get this shape that looks like this. All right, let's try the last one. Oh, well, the last one, instead of you trying this on Pear Deck, I'm going to have you guys go to Class Kick, and there's just one problem for you to do on Class Kick. It'll say 5.5, day 2, sine graphs. So if you guys can just go on, log on, try that one. I will give you some feedback this evening just so you can have some idea of if you're on the right track. And again, we will check in on everything else tomorrow.